I'm Gilbert Dickey.
I'm Ellen Kim.
And I'm Anna Lee. Those stories and more on today's Jet Force. We're back with another episode of the Jet Force featuring in-depth investigative journalism on today's pressing issues. On the Jet Force, we dig deep and fly high in order to deliver the real stories that matter most. On today's episode, we focus on a common mistake that students make when preparing for exams. Students procrastinate and leave studying until the very last minute. Sometimes they stay up all night long. Jennifer Cho, Daniel Sung, and Gilbert Dickey have a report on the common habit we all suffer from but can easily change: cramming.
Every high school kid has done it, pulling off studying for the exam until the last minute. Then it comes to caffeine-fueled all-nighter in an attempt to cram as much information as they can. Cramming is something we do to absorb large volumes of information in a short amount of time. Students struggle with time management, and cramming leads to low productivity, sleep deprivation, poor eating habits, and inconsistent performance in school. Cramming is increasing among students at high school, then moves on to struggle at university because the bad habits have already started. We spoke with families about what is causing the problems. We also researched the solutions. Here is our special report. Dino, a freshman at Daegu International School, comes home from school. He then immediately heads to his bed, just like any other day. When he wakes up, he checks his phone and texts his friends. He would sit in his desk, but waste his time on watching YouTube. His mom, Judy, can't take it anymore. She scolds him for his behavior and points out his plethora of homework. At 4 a.m. in the morning, Dino finally starts his homework with the help of energy drink. He struggles to stay awake. Let's see how his mother thinks about her son.
I am very concerned about my son. He has been procrastinating all his work. I don't know how he's doing at school, and it is heartbreaking to see him drinking those energy drinks to stay up late. He's been destroying his health by drinking too much caffeine and not sleeping enough. I hope my son could change for himself and for our family.
Why are we doing this? I don't get it. I get my work done in time. It's my way of studying. None of your business.
We have solutions to this problem. Use a spacing effect and study a little bit each day instead of marathon studying in one night. Use your time efficiently in Learning Lab, email teachers for help, don't study with friends, and put away your technology when studying. If students can measure their time productively through these methods, then they can stop procrastinating and will be successful in school. I used to binge studying as part of my routine, and I can say that it is not the best way to get your work done. When I stopped, my grade all improved. Plan well and do your work right away. Don't study harder, study smarter.
Almost 100% of Korean teenagers and adults have a smartphone. You have probably noticed many heads facing down into their hands, playing around on their phones. Regardless of the age or gender, people are obsessed with their precious technology. Ellen Kim and Samira Kapadia have a report on the serious problem of phone addiction.
Nomophobia is a rational fear of being without your phone or being unable to use your cell phone. A Time magazine poll discovered 84% of worldwide phone users can't go a single day without their mobile device in their hand. We went to a school to investigate this phenomenon. According to research, 50% of Americans and 80% of 18 to 24 years old sleep with their phones next to them. Students are not any different. Students use their cell phone from 12 a.m. to the next morning. Smartphones disrupt sleep because they emit what's known as blue light. This light is picked up by special cells behind our eyeballs, and it communicates to the brain that it's morning. Therefore, overusage of smartphones during night leads to an increase of sleeping in class. An anonymous teacher from a local high school volunteered to share her story.
I do think that there can be some negative effects to smartphone use in class. I notice often that students are text messaging each other or looking at their Snapchat or Instagram instead of working on schoolwork or listening to a teacher giving out information or working on their assignments. If students are easily distracted by the use of their phone and their social media and any of their technology, really, then it can affect how their grades are coming across during their work time.
However, the problem is that the students do not realize that they are addicted to using cell phone. We interviewed an anonymous high school student.
I use phone every time. I like 10 hours or 12 hours until I fall asleep. I text my friends and like play games such as Candy Crush all the time. I'm the best in the least.
The new form of electronic communication is harming people's communication skills.
To indirectly experience nomophobia, I turned off my phone for 7 days. Without using phone for 7 days, I felt so lonely and I felt anxious that I couldn't check my messages from my friends.
Among today's high school and college students, this is on the rise. Nomophobia leads to an increase in contact with germs and bacteria because people are prone to take their phones to the bathrooms. To prevent yourself from being a victim of nomophobia, turn off your cell phone at least an hour before bed. Be sure there are daily times you turn off the cell phone and experience either face-to-face conversations or solitude. Technology should be a servant, not a master.
I'm Anna Lee. We'll be back soon with another edition of the Jet Force.